In June of 2021, 22-year-old Gabrielle Petito, known to her friends and family as Gabby, and her fiancé, 23-year-old Brian Laundrie, packed up their Ford Transit van and set out on a road trip across the states. The couple were influenced by the mass of people who traded up suburban living for a simplistic life on the road. The trip would end in tragedy. This is the murder of Gabby Petito. Gabby, a Long Island native, had met Laundrie when the pair both attended Bayport Blue Point High School. Gabby, the eldest child of Nicole Schmidt and Joe Petito, came from a large family. Nicole and Joe had separated when Gabby was young and went on to have children with their partners, meaning Gabby became the big sister to 5 siblings. Laundrie was the youngest child of Christopher and Roberta Laundrie, with just one older sister. After graduation, Gabby decided not to go to college and took a job in a restaurant as a hostess in North Carolina. In 2019, she decided to move to North Point, Florida, to live with Laundrie. The pair both worked at Publix, but decided to quit at the beginning of the pandemic. They decided to take a road trip and travel by car from New York State to California before returning to Florida, where Gabby celebrated her 21st birthday. Shortly afterwards, Laundrie proposed to Gabby. Like many people, Gabby would document her adventures on Instagram. To the outside world, Gabby and Laundrie were the perfect couple and having the time of their lives. In December of 2020, Gabby decided to purchase a 2012 Ford Transit van. This would be the beginning of a new adventure for the couple. Inspired by the growing trend of van lifer YouTubers, they decided to convert the van into a mini home, embark on a journey across the states, and vlog their experiences on the YouTube channel Nomadic Static. Their journey would begin in New York, where Gabby could spend time with her family before travelling to state parks to hike, camp, and explore the beauty of nature during the summer. The couple had 6 months to plan their journey, convert the van into a living space, and prepare for their trip. On July the 2nd, Gabby waved goodbye to her family in New York, and she and Laundrie embarked on their journey. For the next month, Gabby's Instagram became an array of shots of stunning scenery. The couple appeared to be having a great time on the road. Gabby checks in with her mum nearly every day and keeps her updated on where their travels are taking them. It's August the 12th and the couple have been in Moab, Utah. They've visited the famous Arches National Park and are now outside the Moonflower Natural Food Store. Gabby had spent several hours in a coffee shop trying to set up a website for their van life adventures. However, tempers are frayed and the pair get into an altercation, causing so much disturbance that 2 separate witnesses make a call to the Moab police. The couple have returned to their van and are travelling out of Moab by the time officers see them. The officer following their vehicle alerts the couple to pull over. He notices the van swerve before coming to a stop in a lay-by.
You want to tell me what's wrong?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just some days I have really bad OCD, and
Okay.
I was just cleaning and straightening up the back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I just get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him. I just I guess my vibe is like I am really like in a bad mood.
Gabby is clearly distressed as officers attempt to discover what has occurred. As fellow officers attend, they separate the couple to determine what happened in Moab.
Tell me what's going on.
She just gets worked up sometimes, and I try and really distance myself from her, so I lock the car and I walk away from her. What happened this morning is that she's trying to start up her own little website blog and everything, so I give her time, and we really had a nice morning, if anything, but she just got worked up because we were trying to get going and get our day going because we want to go like Arches before this stuff.
Okay. You want to tell me about those scratches on your face?
She had a cell phone in her hand, that's why I was pushing her away, because she wanted I locked the keys so I could walk away. I said, let's just take a breather and let's not go anywhere. Let's just calm down for a minute because she was getting really worked up. And then she had her phone and was trying to get the keys to her. like that way. I was just trying to, I know I shouldn't push, but I was just trying to push her away to go, let's just take a minute, step back and breathe. And she got me with it.
Gabby tells officers she struck Laundrie, whilst Laundrie wants to play down the seriousness of the situation.
When you slapped him those times, were you attempting to cause him physical pain or physical impairment? Was that what you were attempting to do to him?
No.
What were you attempting to do? What was the reason behind the slapping and stuff? What was it you were attempting to accomplish by slapping?
I was trying to get him to stop telling me something.
She's already swinging, and I was a lot of angles, a lot of nails, a lot of rings.
Yeah, you got 3 scratches in your neck. You got 1 on the left side of your nose.
Officers can only work with the information provided to them. They have 2 statements from Gabby and Laundrie that confirm Gabby struck Laundrie. He has visible scratches to his face. Gabby claims Laundrie grabbed her face, whilst one of the witnesses who made the call to the police recounts Laundrie as the aggressor.
Did he hit you though? I mean, it's okay if you're saying you hit him, but I understand if he hit you, but we want to know the truth. If he actually hit you. Because, where did he hit you? Don't worry. Be honest.
It's a dilemma for officers, but instead of arresting Gabby for the assault, they use their discretion, opting for the couple to be separated for the night so the pair can cool down.
So, I've got him a hotel room tonight. So here in just a minute, I have to keep you guys separated. For right now, don't contact each other or don't wave at him, okay? Do you want me to say anything to him? Because I can do that for you. You want me to let him know that you love him and that you'll see him tomorrow and stuff like that? I can do that
Make
for
sure
you.
he doesn't forget a phone charger. Definitely good.
Oh, he's bad about that too?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make sure that he has a phone charger, okay?
Laundrie ends up in a hotel for the night, and Gabby has the van. They then travel to Salt Lake City, where Gabby books herself into a hotel, whilst Laundrie takes a flight back to Florida alone. They had some belongings in storage back in Florida, so Laundrie had flown home to move the belongings from storage in an effort to save some money for their van travels. He returned to Salt Lake on the 23rd of August, and the couple returned to the road to travel towards Wyoming. On August 25th, Gabby posts a picture to Instagram, taken outside the Monarch in Ogden, Utah. This is also the same day Gabby's mother talks via video chat. This would be the last time Gabby posts on social media, and the last time she's seen on video chat. Just 2 days later, Gabby and Laundrie have travelled to the Grand Teton area. They are spotted at a restaurant in Jackson, Wyoming. Witnesses claim Gabby was upset, and Laundrie was in some kind of verbal altercation with the restaurant staff. That same day, Gabby's mum receives a text message from Gabby. "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls." Gabby's mum thought it was a little strange, as Stan is Gabby's grandfather, whom she never referred to by his first name. Then, 3 days later, Gabby's mum receives a final message. No signal in Yosemite. As the days pass, repeated attempts to contact the couple fail. Gabby's mum is so worried that she files a missing persons report on the 11th of September. The family begins to fear something has happened to the couple. Now, things begin to take a dark turn. Diligent investigators track Gabby's van on a traffic cam returning to North Point, Florida on September the 1st. However, Gabby is nowhere to be seen. In fact, it is Laundrie at the wheel, who's returned from Wyoming alone. Laundrie and his parents had ignored the repeated calls and texts from Gabby's mother and family. On the 13th of September, Gabby's mum and dad hold a press conference appealing for any information regarding the whereabouts of Gabby.
Gabby, we just want you to come home. Call us. Let us know you're up there. We just come home.
Gabby's disappearance captivates America, and the hunt for Gabby begins. Meanwhile, Laundrie, after spending a weekend camping in Florida with his parents and sister, decides to retain a lawyer, a family friend of theirs. Both Laundrie and his parents refuse to speak to officers regarding Gabby. On the day of the press conference, Laundrie somehow manages to evade police surveillance and leaves his parents' home unnoticed. So not only is Gabby missing, now Laundrie is too. His parents report him missing 3 days later. This is devastating to Gabby's parents, as they suspect Laundrie was the only person who potentially knew where Gabby was. Investigators released the body cam footage from the couple's incident in Moab. This effectively acts like a catalyst for the media, with everyone analysing and commenting on the video footage. Investigators named Laundrie as a person of interest. Then charges are filed against him, as it turns out he'd spent $1,000 on Gabby's debit card on his drive back to Florida in her van. The manhunt began for Laundrie. His parents tell police officers he'd gone hiking at nearby Mayakachi Reserve on the 14th of September, but they would later claim he went on the 13th. His car is found at the reserve, but there is no sign of him. Officers close the reserve and spend weeks combing the huge expanse of land looking for Laundrie. Meanwhile, the authorities plead for anyone who may have spotted the couple in Wyoming to contact them. Amazingly, several people camping in the Grand Teton National Park had inadvertently spotted Gabby's van parked along a verge. This gave authorities the clue they needed, an area to search. On September the 19th, Jim Schmidt, Gabby's stepfather, who had travelled to Wyoming to assist with the search, was presented with items of clothing. He was able to confirm those items belonged to Gabby. The family's worst fears were confirmed. Gabby's body had been found on a remote campsite, a mile or so away from where the van had been seen at the Grand Teton Park. Gabby's stepfather placed a stone cross to mark where Gabby's body was found. The campsite had the remnants of a wood fire, marks where a tent had been pitched, and Gabby's boots sat next to her body. The autopsy would determine that Gabby had died from strangulation and had blunt force injuries. Laundrie, the only person of interest, was still nowhere to be found. Everyone was looking for Laundrie. Sightings would be reported throughout the US, some claiming he was living off-grid in the reserve, whilst others convinced he took off to Mexico. The press camps outside the Laundrie home, and so did the public who demanded justice for Gabby. The Laundrie's lives were made intolerable by the onslaught of press, investigators, and even protesters. They continued to maintain their silence under the guard of their lawyer. The manhunt for Laundrie would continue until 20th of October, when skeletal remains were found on the Makahatchee Creek Environmental Park, the very reserve that his parents had told police he went hiking at over a month earlier. Now what was strange is that the Laundrie's parents had just decided to visit the park to search for him that very day. In fact, with press following them, they discovered a bag that belonged to Laundrie and handed it to an investigator. Later that day, the remains of Laundrie were found. It's either an amazing coincidence or due to the fact the park had been under several feet of water due to rainstorms, and following a dry spell, the waters had receded, exposing Laundrie's remains. Laundrie's bones were scattered and had been damaged by wild animals. They found his shoes, a dry sack, half a handwritten note, and a wooden box containing a notebook and some photographs. The FBI would later confirm there was indeed a journal. There was also a pistol found near the remains and a spent cartridge. 2 bullets remained in the chamber. The forensic anthropologist was able to reform the remains to determine that Laundrie died from a self-inflicted bullet wound to the left side of his head.
It has caused speculation how Laundrie, being right-handed, would self-inflict a left-sided injury. In certain cases this would warrant further investigation, but in Laundrie's case the gun used was a snub-nosed revolver and a European American arms. This type of handgun has a short barrel and is quite heavy to hold. I suspect Laundrie used both hands to support the weapon and his right-handed thumb to pull the trigger. The FBI would confirm that following the discovery, they were satisfied that Laundrie was responsible for Gabby's murder. Evidence would support that Gabby was murdered shortly after their visit to the restaurant in Wyoming. It was estimated that her body was there for 2 to 3 weeks. The last 2 texts sent from Gabby's phone were suspected to have been sent by Laundrie in an attempt to conceal his crime. They were near Yellowstone Park, not Yosemite, which is over 900 miles away. Laundrie used Gabby's bank card to return to Florida, which was at least a 2-day drive. Laundrie didn't attempt to conceal Gabby's body. He just callously left her out in the wilderness, packed up the camping gear and drove back to Florida. Spent time with his family before taking the trip to the reserve. It's unclear if his death was an act of remorse or because he feared being caught. Although Gabby was found and Laundrie deemed responsible, there was no real sense of justice. Gabby was young, energetic, with a lust for life. Laundrie, a more reserved character, was himself considered to be a caring and thoughtful individual. It's utterly tragic that he would murder the woman he'd wanted to spend the rest of his life with. Whilst the Laundrie family continue to maintain their deafening silence and have since put their house up for sale, Gabby's family have created a legacy for their loss and created the Gabby Petito Foundation. Through fundraising, they're able to support other organisations dedicated to missing persons and domestic abuse awareness. As Gabby's case made the headlines, the Petito-Schmidt family realised that many missing persons cases don't garner so much attention, and they hope to change that in Gabby's honour.